Briefly on this, so I want to tell you a little bit of where this came from. We're planning on doing something church-wide. It was a prayer guide. And after kind of wrestling with it and discerning for a little while, we thought that maybe it would be a good idea to actually kind of slow down on trying to see all this happen in the life of our church, but first make sure it's something that's happening deep within our own lives, like as leaders. And so we've been thinking about that as a staff. What does it take for us to become a people of prayer? And then we want that to extend from us, and we want that to happen in your lives too. Like if our church is going to be a praying church, it has to start with our leadership, right?
Yes.
Because people get what we pass on. You can only give what you possess. And so we can't expect for our whole church to be a praying church if our leadership isn't praying leadership. And so we kind of halted the brakes on this. This was originally going to be church-wide, but then we pulled back a little bit and we kind of adjusted and edited this so that this would actually fit you guys as leaders and would help hopefully speak into the things that you're actually doing and give you kind of some lenses to begin to pray through. And so really this guide walks through the idea of what would it look like for God's kingdom to become first in my life, but then be extended into my city. So my life, my family, my roof, the house that I live in, the regular people that I encounter every day. Because you have people in your life that you encounter every day, but sometimes you're not aware of what God might want to do there. And so we want to get you to start thinking about that. Because if we're going to actually be a people that are following God, then we need to be on mission in all of life, but we can't do that apart from the empowering of the Holy Spirit. We can't just send you and say, hey, go share the gospel with all these people. That's a little bit overwhelming. But there are people in your life that God wants you to be good news to. And first, we should slow down and pray and ask, who are those people? Who is it that you're sending me to, God? Because the more clarity we get, then the more confidence we can walk in that clarity. When we know where the Holy Spirit's leading us, then it's easy to say yes, right? But when we're not confident of that and we're a little bit unsure, honestly, most of our best efforts fall up short. You've all experienced that, right? I say that because I've experienced it so much. And so we really wanted this to be something that would be a tool that you could use in your personal devotional life. It would help you get some clarity about what God is calling you to do in your own life, in your own home, in your gospel community, with the regular people that you encounter. And then hopefully that God would begin to break your heart for some of the brokenness in our city. And then you would be able to see that, hey man, there's these things that God has made me passionate about. How do I step into that with my real life? And then call my GC into that. Because a lot of times, I know in leading gospel communities in the past, I felt like I wanted everybody to come on and let's be on mission. But the truth was that my life wasn't first on mission. My life wasn't first submitted to the Spirit. And so I got really frustrated when people didn't make it easier for me to be on mission. I got frustrated when people didn't come along on my journey. But the problem was I wasn't so convicted about it that I would have done it without them. And so we want you to be leaders that are so convicted about where God is leading you that you would do it even if no one else showed up. And if you would do it even if no one else showed up, I guarantee you that people would start to show up. And that's the place that we want to lead from a deep conviction. Not out of compulsion, not out of fear, not out of worry, but out of a deep conviction of what the Lord has done. And so I hope this will be a tool for you. This was put together by several people in our church. Mary Ann did a week. Kelsey did a week. Yeah, thank you. Ryan did some weeks. JR did some weeks, and I did too. And we kind of put this together as a collective. Hopefully, we hope this would be a resource and a guide for you. I mean, really all it does is ask you good questions and ask you to start praying. We think that God's going to be the one that does the work. Okay? So use this in your personal devotional time as we head towards Easter. We hope that it'll give you a lot of clarity for your gospel community and really for your own life first. Because we want to be people who practice before we ask other people to join us. If we can't live it out first, we have no reason to call other people to it. And that's true of me too. Like if it's not true in my own life, I should not ask other people to join me, right? There's a quote by a guy named Mark Sayers. He says, all corporate renewal starts with personal renewal. And so first in me, Lord. That should be kind of our mantra, first in me. So I hope that that's really, really helpful for you. Well, I'll just touch on this briefly, but for some of you that follow the church calendar, this is the season of Lent. Some of you, that might be a weird topic. We're not celebrating that church-wide, but the season of Lent is really a season of prayer and fasting for preparation as you head to Easter. It's the 6 weeks before Easter. And really, this is actually meant to help you kind of walk in some of the rhythms that prayer and fasting would do. So we're giving you activities that you can replace, so you can fast from some things and then begin to pray into those things. And ask that God would, as you remove some things, that He would give you a desire for Him. That He would replace your desire for lesser things with a desire for Him. So we're kind of digging into that. And then this prayer week is kind of coming up right before Easter, and it's a great time to be praying because we get to celebrate the resurrection. And really, what do we see happen in the early church after the resurrection? There's some waiting, and then all things just break loose. The Spirit just goes nuts and sends His people out, sends the church out. And so I'm even praying that every year, one of my favorite things about the church calendar is every year I get to practice January through April following the life of Jesus. Then we celebrate the death and resurrection of Jesus. And then there's a season of waiting, and then there's always the season of where the Spirit sends us. He sends us out in His power. And I'm praying that even this summer, the Lord would empower us and send us out on a mission a little deeper than we've ever been as a church. But what's cool about that is that every year, if you kind of live in that rhythm where you're following the life, death, resurrection of Jesus, and then the empowering of the Holy Spirit, think about that, how that begins to shape and mold who you are. That begins to shape kind of the things you anticipate, the things that you long for. What if every year you begin to get into a rhythm of longing for God's kingdom to come more and more, which means that you say, I'm willing to let go of some of my little kingdom. Lord, would you use me? Would you fill me up? Would you send me out? And every year, every spring, you kind of get to this place where you're like, I'm kind of tired of the way that I live for myself. Lord Jesus, would you remove that stuff and would you send me out? And if we live into those rhythms and we kind of get into that heartbeat, think about how much easier it will be for the people we lead to also live into that. And then we begin to become a people who desire the kingdom more and more. We don't just desire for the well to get bigger or more people to come, but we desire for the kingdom to come in our city and our neighborhood and our friendships and all those areas. And that's my prayer for us, is that's who we would be year in and year out. And so I'm going to pray for us and then hand it off to Jacob. He's going to lead us through the rest of this time. But could we even just stop for a minute and you personally ask that the Lord would use this to stir in your heart, and then it would lead you to greater clarity of how to lead your gospel community? Let's stop and do that, and then I'll pray over us.